Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Public Experience, y'all. We have another great episode for y'all today. I'm your host, Brandon Gates, and man, we are in a treat for today because we got my man Jermaine Brooks, and he's going to tell us all about his amazing journey about how he became a developer, how he became a real estate agent, how he's now the host of his own show, and just get all the gems he's going to drop for us today. You know what I'm saying? And we also got my man, co-host with me today, my man Brian Sims, the host of Becoming Overcomers, which is a great podcast. Check it out, please. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get right into it, man. And I want to start from the beginning. First, I want to give you flowers, man, because once again, I don't think you understand. You are a legend in the game. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. You are, bro. You are. It's so many names when you talk about real estate in the city of Cleveland. And right. So many names come up, and yours is mentioned. Absolutely, man. So I want to give you a flower while we have you on camera.
Appreciate that.
And I like to start from the beginning, man. Did you always say to yourself, I want to get real estate, or was it a journey?
Yeah, it was definitely a journey. Definitely a journey. I sort of stumbled into real estate.
Uh-huh. And
when I mean stumble, I mean like fell into it. I was first introduced in real estate when I graduated from Eastern Michigan University in '97. I was chasing the football dream after graduating, and everybody around was like, man, you got to buy real estate. You got to buy real estate. You know, he was getting the big checks and things like that.
Yeah.
I came back to Cleveland in like '99, 2000. Met these guys, and they was doing all of those stated loans and everything like that. So yeah, that was my first dab in real estate. And I bought 5 houses, all in the hood, with $80,000, $100,000 mortgages. Didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I had to sign. I got a little check to sign, and I owned it. Wouldn't go knock on the door, collecting rent. Thought I was doing something. And then, you know, what happened, if you know the history, then what happened, the mortgage thing crashed. I had all adjustable rates, everything like that. Took an L. Ended up having a tax lien on my name for like $120,000. Yeah, tax lien on my name because all the mortgage companies put 1099 on personal. So I had to deal with that, and that was my first brush into real estate.
Yeah.
But I've always been around it.
Yeah.
Always been around it, and I didn't know how in depth I was, but it didn't come around. Like a good example, my grandfather. My grandfather, General Persuasion, Smooth nightclub on 93rd and Nelson.
Yeah.
He was one of the first black grocers, because that used to be a grocer. It used to be called Ward Square Deal on 93rd and Nelson. So he was one of the first black grocers in Cuyahoga County in Ohio. And then he was also a real estate agent.
Nice.
My aunt, Phyllis, she was a real estate agent.
So it's
in the family, but I did not know. And my mom, who taught me everything so far, she was in the land bank for the city of Cleveland, and her name was on the tax bills and everything. So she actually did all of that. Never paid it any attention. Yeah. And then I jump in. Well, I fall into real estate. The next thing you know, I got this tax lien, but I loved it.
Yeah.
The fact of owning a house, owning a property, the values. So I just started educating myself, and then from there, it's a journey from there. So a lot of people laugh. Because after I took that L, I was like, all right, I got to figure out how I can make some money on it.
Yeah.
And phone calls, meeting different people, and I was talking to my brother. And then my brother had transferred from Michigan, and he was at West Virginia then. And he called me. He was like, man, I got a guy. He wants me to go around these houses and do cash for keys. And this was like in the middle of the mortgage crisis, everybody losing their houses and everything. And I was like, so what are you doing? He paying you? He was like, yeah, he got a whole list of properties. And he wants me to just go knock on the door, tell people, they got to move out and give them $1,500 to move out. So he had just graduated, and he was running around doing that. Yeah. So when I was like, Jason, send me the list. Yeah. Let me see what this on the list. Right. He sent me the list. Man, it was a spreadsheet. Had to have about 3,000 some properties on it. And Cleveland and Detroit, it was about 500 properties on there.
Dirty D, baby.
Yeah. And then I graduated from Eastern Michigan. My brother was up at Michigan, so we got ties up there. Yeah. I sent them to a couple people I knew, like, y'all want to buy these houses? And then all the people that I knew from that was doing, like, buying a 2-family, buying a single family. I'm like, y'all want to buy houses? And I just started, before wholesaling was big, I was just wholesaling.
You was wholesaling?
I was wholesaling.
You didn't know what you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew is that dude sent me a spreadsheet, and we never knew who owned this spreadsheet. Yeah. It had been through so many hands, but all I knew is on a spreadsheet whatever their cost was, add $500, and then whatever else I made, it is
difference is yours.
Yep, difference was mine. And from there, they said take them to Heights Title, Beverly. And Heights Title, one of the only black title companies in Cleveland. And I called Beverly. I was like, Beverly, these legit? She was like, yeah, we closed a couple of them. Next thing you know, I just got busy.
Yeah.
Sold all of those ones in Cleveland. Sold like 90% of the ones in Detroit. And finally, somebody reached out to Beverly and was like, who's this guy selling all of these houses? We can't move stuff here. We can't move stuff there. And come to find out it was a hedge fund based out of Utah. And an Israel guy came in, flew into Cleveland, met me up at Heights Title. My brother had moved up here by then because we was just selling houses.
Yeah.
And, my brother had moved up here. And at that point, we met him.
Yeah.
And it was like, what's going on in Cleveland? Jumped in the car, showed him around.
Yeah.
And he was like, you guys sold this. I mean, we were selling these houses for like $3 grand, $5 grand, $4 grand. It was easy because all they wanted was
time, man.
All they wanted, they called them toxic assets, and all they wanted was $250, $300. Yes, Maple Heights, Garfield Heights, everywhere, and we was just dumping them. So then he asked me one question. He said, "What would be the best case scenario? How could we maximize this list that we're getting? All of these properties coming from all these banks." I said, if I had some capital, we can rehab these, we can rent them out through Section 8, and then that's when we'll start making some money. And from there, we started a company. It was me and my brother, and then there was the two guys from Israel, and we called it Two Aces. Started a company, started buying. Well, we was just buying off the list.
Yeah.
Off the list from their hedge fund that they had already created.
Right.
We was just buying them. They would send the funds to rehab them. We started renovating them. Next thing you know, we was doing the property management right down to CLHL.
Time out, bro. Cause you get, can I hit that one time? Cause he just literally broke down real estate and how you can make money in real estate in all the stages and all the varieties and whatnot.
Yep.
And I want y'all to go over your head what he just said or whatnot. And this is 08, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah. This was like 08. When we really started rolling.
Yeah.
Because they came in, I think they came in at like 05, 06, because it was bad.
It was bad,
That was when it was bad. And then, it was about 08, 09, because the County Land Bank had started up by then. Yeah, and we started buying from there, too.
I mean,
yeah,
man, listen, the good old days.
It was great. It was good business. Thing about it, lesson learned, I wish me and my brother would have paid more attention to the business of it instead of each deal.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were looking at how much money we making off each house. They were looking at how much is this business that they created worth. And that was a key, and I didn't really understand that until like 2013. We had got over like 58 some properties that we had held. They were all performing. And then they decided that the one was going back to Israel because he was based in Miami. The other one was going to California, start in the weed industry.
Yeah.
My brother was like, man, holding houses and renting them, that ain't sexy no more. I want to start flipping. Cash me out. And then he wanted to go on the west side. He killed it over there on the flip side, knocking on doors, buying houses, whole streets. And the numbers over there was crazy. But I was the one left with all the properties, still doing the management of them. And at that
right management, I'm guessing that's not sexy.
Oh, goodness. I mean, it has its ups and downs. Like, looking at it, I created some great relationships with all the tenants. I've met a whole bunch of contractors. I knew the lay of the land as far as dealing with CMHA, dealing with all the inspectors and things like that. So I had already had those relationships. But it was in 2014 when they were like, let's just sell everything. And I was like, all right. So they was like, reach out to the realtors who helped us get it, and who marketed this, that, and other. And I was like, nah.
You on me?
Hell no. And I went to Hondros.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
Well, so all this time you still had license?
I didn't have my license.
Get out of here.
I did not have my license at all. And I sat down and I was talking to my wife, and I said, business is over. You know what I'm saying? I said, the business is over, this, that, and the other. I got to figure out a way to make something from what we created.
Yeah.
Everybody else was going on their separate paths, but I didn't have a path. And I at that point in time, I was like, who got paid on every deal? On every deal we did, build this portfolio, who got paid? It was the general home inspector and the agent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be the general home inspector. That ain't sexy. Right. I think I can sell some houses. Yeah. And I went to Hondros, got my license, passed. Good friend of mine, Kyron Jackson, he had already went and got his license like 2 years, and he was always pushing me, like, get your license. I'm like, man, I can't get no license. Right. Because I didn't understand the magnitude of it. Yeah. And he moved to Hollywood, and he's an agent out there. And then I was like, no, I'm getting my license. Got my license. The first listing was one of our properties. And after that, just the relationships that I had already created, that's when I really started just reaching out. Like, all right, I got my license. I know you got this many houses. Let's start selling them. This, that, and other. And then when you were talking about, you used to see my name everywhere on the
let me tell you a story. So when I first started as an agent, y'all, and I'm looking, you know, when we first started out, you go on MLS, you go there every morning because you're excited. You just want to, like, what's out there, what's available, right? And I'm looking at these properties. I'm looking all over Cleveland. We ain't talking about Pacific. I'm like, this name keep coming up. Jermaine Brooks. I'm like, okay, whatnot. 2 weeks later, same thing. Whatnot. So I'm like, okay, all right. So obviously I'm doing something right. I was like, man, I got to see about this man right here or whatnot. So yeah, no, shout out to you, bro.
Yeah, but the key was relationships.
Yeah.
My brother was on the west side. He was rehabbing houses. He was working real close with the community development centers and things like that. And he met the guys. See, a lot of people don't know, in Cuyahoga County, you can't just go buy a tax lien. They put them all together, and they put an RFP out. And all these big banks and companies, they bid on those. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's funny because I had said, like in Florida, Georgia, all that, you can go buy a tax lien. A normal person can go buy a tax lien, but in Cuyahoga County, you can't.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think Summit, you can't neither. I think they RFP those out too. But my brother connected me with the guys who had the contract for all the tax foreclosures going on in Cuyahoga County. And they were working with, I ain't gonna say that, they were working with agents from Remax. And I was like, Jason, give me the number. I'm gonna call them. Call these guys for like a week. Week and a half, back to back to back. Text messages, emails, everything. And then one day I just popped up. I was like, Jason was like, well, I'm over here rehabbing one of their houses. Just popped up over there. Like, hey, what's going on? This is another, introduce myself. And they're like, you're an agent? I'm like, yeah, I'm an agent. I see y'all got all these houses, this, that, and other. And people that's in the industry, they gonna know these names. Mountainside, Lakeside Realty, Lakeside REO, all of that. So I sat down and I just bum rushed them. Like, look, most of the houses that y'all selling are in the inner city. The agents that you have don't represent that neighborhood. I said, so I know the value of those neighborhoods. I understand what I'm dealing with. There was tenants in some of the houses that had to go through. I can do it. First thing they did was say, well, the commissions are 3%, this, that, and other. We had a flat rate, $1,000. And I was like, what's the quantity? How many are you talking?
Come on, time out. Hold on, man. Hold on. Once again, I don't want you schooling me because the question was, because y'all know as an agent, sometimes when with certain listings there is a flat fee or whatnot. He asked what the quantity was. He said,
what's the quantity? What's the quantity? And they were like,
you already doing the math.
Yeah, I'm already doing the math. He was like, no, we got probably about 1,000 houses that we are going to be putting to market. And I'm like, I'll take that deal every day. When do I start? When do I start? And I became their listing agent. And the thing about it, it was just me. It was just me. I still was working with the city of Cleveland. And talk about a grind. I would get off at 4:30. I would go around to all the houses that I was going to be listing that day. They had a photographer take the pictures, but I still wanted to get a layup, lock box it up, and all of that type of thing. And then I would go in and I would work all the way from like 6 to about 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning and putting them in, answering emails, everything. I did that grind for like 2-3 years. And then that's what got my name out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was that opportunity, meeting the right people, being persistent about it,
Yeah.
and not taking no for an answer, and understanding that a quick 3% on one deal does not compare to having multiple listings constantly rolling.
Yeah.
And when you talk about you guys doing podcasts and marketing and things like that, that was my first taste of marketing. I said, I think I found the cheat code to Zillow. because the more you list, then you become a preferred agent. And it was just like, bing. So then I really got hungry. And then I started doing like regular things we were doing anyway. Like, I'll get a listing off 116th. I'm knocking on all the doors around there.
Yeah.
So now I got their listing, which is which came from them, but now I'm doing the work to get other listings in that same area. So next thing you know, I got 6 listings on the same street. You know, so it just happened that way. But that was the journey into real estate.
Yeah.
And wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known earlier.
Nah, listen, everything happens for a reason, bro. And,
And the reason why I say I wish I would have known earlier is because we, as a black community, are, I'm be honest, it's like when Black Lives Matter is when I first started seeing the revolution in real estate, when everybody was talking about real estate, buy the block, do this, there was all these initiatives going on. Real estate and licensing been in the works for decades, but our community never understood that it is a legitimate career path.
Right.
It's a legitimate career path, and I speak in schools of entrepreneurship. There's no, and if I'm wrong, correct me, there's no other place where you can go get a license for under $5K, and I think it's like $2,500 now.
That's it. Yep. You factor in schooling, paying for the test, and then you factor in dues. For $5K.
Yeah, but you can make unlimited amount of money.
Right. It's no cap.
No cap.
It's no cap.
No cap.
You gotta put the work in, though.
You got to put the work in, but there's no cap. There's no other field like that, and we are just really getting into it, and we're behind the 8 ball. We're behind the 8 ball. When I first started at Keller Williams in 14, I don't remember how many black minority agents there were, but there weren't many. There weren't many. It was an intimidating office when I first got there. I didn't really go in the office. And then you could just see how the culture changed. Right now it's over 450 agents. We're a quarter of them are African American.
I'm about to say, please, can you show them the hoodie or what? Show them.
Let's start by 10. Yeah, so, and that's another whole other journey, because like I said, I was grinding on my own. It was just me. I'm focused, but I started getting agents reach out and say, look, how are you doing this? What are you doing? What's going on with this? And I started mentoring a couple guys. It started off with just me, Kawan Brown, and Cliff Lewis.
That's what's up.
All of us, we met at Zanzibar. We started talking about what can we do, how can we cross market, what are we doing, what am I doing that's working, what are they doing that's working, and that's how I end up getting a team. Cliff just kept pushing me. Man, you need to mentor some more agents. And I'm like, man, I'm spending a lot of time mentoring. I got deals I got to do.
Right.
And it was just, and it was just the fact that, yes, I'm giving back, I'm doing the right thing, but at the same time, I got to focus on the business. Right. And that's when I switched from being a real estate agent to being a real estate business owner.
Come on, can I do one time? Come on, man.
Real quick, so two words that pop out to me when you talk, right?
Okay.
Is process and relationships.
Yes.
Right? So, first I'm going to start with relationships. If y'all don't know, viewers out there, I got a headache. Because he just gave me a big man earlier. Because he know my daddy from back in the day.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Right? So, my head hurt. We're going to talk about that. I need a house for that. But what, in your journey of, your career, what's your most important relationship, and like why are relationships so important to you?
All right, I'll say this on that point. Yeah, that's a great question. Everybody always say, get education. Get education. Educate yourself. Yes, firm believer that you need to educate yourself. However, networking, follow up on networking, and building that relationships will get you further than most education. I and us as a people, it's hard to get in certain rooms that have been created and sheltered to keep us out.
Right.
So once you find someone who's willing to open the door, don't just try to kick it down. Build a working relationship with them.
That's good.
Like I stated, when my brother met the guys who had the contract, they had already had an agent. It was me that was persistent and was going to them and talking. My brother was already working for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's working for you. He's doing a good job. I can do the same job.
Right.
And it was building that relationship. And to this day, they're not even in the Cleveland market anymore. They're in Colorado. And we still talk crap to each other because we had built that relationship and that bond. Now, it's like agents inside my office. I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything, and I'm always constantly learning from other agents who've been in the business longer than me, who've had a specific process and things like that. And I'll call them in a minute. Just being humble. Like, a lot of people don't understand that in order to be successful, you have to be humble. You have to not be scared to ask for help, number one, and then start building those relationships. People do business with people they trust and they like.
I gotta hit that, man, because I feel like that's not just for real estate. That's an area of entrepreneurship. People have to feel like I can sit down with this person, I can relate to this person, I can work with this person. And I tell people all the time, they ask me, well, what do you think your secret sauce is? I think I'm generally me.
Right.
And a person says to themselves, well, I can do business with Brandon right there and whatnot. And I think that we as entrepreneurs all have to realize what sets us apart from everyone else, and what is that our potential clients, what problem can you solve in their lives that's gonna make them want to work with you or whatnot.
Yeah, and networking is key.
Oh yeah.
Networking is key. That's why I love this podcast and the things that you guys are doing in the community, because you're humble enough to reach out to people and say, I'm gonna give you your flowers now.
Oh yeah.
That's number one. And that's something that this city we're slow on it.
Oh yeah.
Extremely slow. I mean, I'm born and raised here, grew up here, and been all around the United States, and other people help. They help build. They want to see us all come together. This city is rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. So I'm glad to see you guys like reaching out, being humble, saying, look, this is what you're doing. We respect it. Come talk about it.
We appreciate it.
And build those relationships.
Yeah.
Because then you never know. Like, I had people, so at the city of Cleveland, I was a certification officer. I did the minority business certifications, female-owned business, all that disadvantaged business enterprises. And from there, I met a lot of business owners. A lot of business owners used to be like, well, why are you so nice? Why are you, make sure your certification in on time, make sure it is. Here's this job opportunity, here's this project. And everybody like, why do you do that? Why do you? I was like, because I want to see you succeed. I want to see you win. And what are you getting out of it?
Right.
And I used to tell them, I used to joke, I'm like, one day in the future, I might need a favor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I might need a favor. And now I'm on the private side. I can have those conversations with them and say, like, hey, how you doing? How's business? This, that, and the other. This is what I'm into. Is there any way we could correlate and link up? And that's brought us into the development. We started a development company based off that same premise that you were talking about, relationships.
And real quick, Jermaine, I'll make sure that our killer artists not sure what a developer is. What is that exactly? So,
all right, so
yes. He's in that bag first.
we getting there. Developers get paid all the way at the end.
Yeah.
But a developer is someone who comes into the city, understands the landscape, strategic plans, things like that. And then what we're doing is we're building from the ground up something that will stir the community, revitalize the community. So it's putting together not just renovation of one house, but it's a master plan for an entire area. And that's when you talk about relationships. It was I'm still really, really close with all the people we grew up with.
Yeah.
Grew up in Warrensville, and we started.
Warrensville.
Yeah, we started WRJ. WRJ Developers. We started that in 2019. Willie Levy, Richard Singleton, and Jermaine Brooks. That's the WRJ. And we all grew up together. We've been on each other since 4th grade. Yeah, all of us been doing real estate. in our own silos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we get together, oh, you did that deal, oh, you did that deal, high five, but it was still that, I hate to say it, but it was still that Cleveland mentality. Like, you succeeding, you doing all right, you doing all right, we out, we kicking it, this, that, and that. And Will checked us on it. My dude Will, he was like, hey, Jay, he was like, you done made all these other people all this money, and what you get? Just a consulting fee or a commission? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, man, you got to start thinking towards legacy. He said, you doing some good stuff, and you got all the knowledge and everything like that. Yeah. Let's get together. Let's pool all our resources, and let's start this development company. We didn't know how much this shit was going to cost. Because you got to have plans, get approved through the city. You got to meet the council people. You got to go through the planning process. Yeah, it's serious work, and the architects and engineers are not inexpensive. It costs for that pretty picture. And but we in our head, it was not. We understood that this wasn't going to hit now. Yeah. This is what we're talking about: leaving our kids a legacy, something different in the community. And then once we started traveling that path, we found out that there wasn't many of us black developers in the city. We started reaching, without going through my database, I'm like, who developed? And wasn't many. And we reached out to those individuals, had some conversations, and they're like, you got a long trudge up a heavy hill. And that was just more motivation for us. We were all athletes. All of us played sports in college, and that just had that competitiveness. Like, we compete. Like, it's funny, I still compete. Now I was down at the Houston game racing people. Ask your daddy. I still will race you in the middle of the street. But win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna give it all. I give them all.
Give it all. Yeah.
But that competitiveness keeps us going. Yeah. So we're doing a development on 72nd and St. Clair. That's the one that hit first. But prior to that, a lot of people don't know. We had another project in Huff approved. Right off 61st and White and Wade Park. In that area, it was called the New Huff Paradigm. And we had that approved, and then we were told that the councilman wanted it somewhere else at the last minute. And I'm like, ugh. It stung. It stung because we spent money, we spent time, we spent months.
And they can do just like that. They can just tell you we don't want to be, we're going to do somewhere else. They ain't do about that.
Another learning lesson.
Sure.
Another learning lesson. Even though they were included through the whole process.
They can just oversee that and just like, nope.
I envisioned that somewhere else. And the city called, they was like, sorry, but we can't get the sign off for the councilman. And I remember we left City Hall that day, and Richard was heated. He was mad. And we stopped, we got off right up the exit on 72nd. And he was like, hold on, just pull over real quick. So we pulled over, and we were on 72nd and St. Clair. It was sort of cold outside, I'll never forget this. And he was like, man, my contractor owned this building right here. He want us to buy it. And I looked at it, and I was like, we still dejected. I'm like, man, we just spent all this money on that. I'm not about to buy this piece of shit. I'm not about to do it. And then he was like, man, I was just saying, it's a good opportunity. Look where we're at. He was like, Gordon Park used to be right here. This used to be the line. You remember we used to go to Gordon Park all the time? So he started pumping me up. And then I'm looking, I'm like, man, the lake is right there. And then all of a sudden, I call my brother. I'm like, relationship. It's my brother, but Jason, hey, didn't you have a guy that owns some land off 72nd? He was like, yeah, he owned them 5 buildings right there. I was like, call him up, tell him I want to buy it. That's how the development project started on 72nd. Just that simple. And I called him, we bought it, and then it was a shipping container on the site.
And I was gonna ask you because I remember seeing that article on y'all doing that. So I'm glad
it was a shipping container on that site. And then we had already started having conversations with a lot of these big construction companies. And when you get into development, you got to understand that in order for the deal to get financed, it has to pencil out. Meaning that your bill costs, your rent's coming in, carrying costs, all of that has to make sense in order for a bank to even look at it. And when we were talking to all these big companies, they were like, well, you know, this, if we build this with our fee and the numbers wasn't working. Because they had their markup on there already. So, you know, us coming in as black developers, going to the big guys, like, we need help, can you build this, can you give us the numbers? It was like, just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And that's when we started thinking like, all right, we all rehab houses. We
Right.
all know that lay of the land. We just ain't never built nothing from the ground up.
Right.
So if we got the structure there, then we should be able to handle it.
Right.
And bing, that's when the container theory took off. It was like that, and then we started traveling around, looking at the sites. I started talking to different architects who was building them, and then we was like, all right, now we got a niche. I said, now we can control our own pricing.
Ooh.
And that was the key. Next thing you know, we started putting our pricing in with the performance and everything like that, and everything started penciling out, making sense.
Making sense.
And now we can have those conversations with the banks.
Ooh.
And it's a hard journey. We got the first one almost up, breaking ground. We got a loan to break ground on 2 more, and then we're working on a loan to build 20 more of the duplexes. So we're gonna follow back up, and we're doing a 64-unit apartment building on 72nd. And all of these projects are already approved through the city.
Come on, can I hear this one time, man? That's my stuff right there. I don't want people to overlook what you just said with that, man, because one, you have carved the lane in an industry, one that I didn't even know until I seen the article. I'm like, oh man, they talking about shipping container, and then I seen like now it's starting to get more traction. But once again, y'all were part of the people. First, I know in this city who was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
It's my guy Derek Childs with Container Homes USA. He was doing more of the commercial retail units. We sat down and we talked to him, working on building a relationship with him as far as helping with the duplexes. But it was just him. It was him and us. And even though they had built Box Spot over off Kinsville, that was more retail, but no single family homes, no duplexes, no apartment buildings. The apartment building, once we get that up, that'll be the first one in the state of Ohio. So, I mean,
can I wrap it up?
Yeah.
He getting that bad. That's what he do. I mean, he can say all this and say all that.
Yeah, we getting there.
He getting that bad.
We getting there. But it's still in that real estate mindset. Another thing I learned early on is I used to always think it was one job, 4 hustles. You know, I always had, because I grew up in a mixed family. So my mom, my grandmother, gotta have a job. You gotta have a job. You gotta work. 8 hours a day. You gotta go to work. So I've always heard that. Then I had my grandfather, my father, my aunt, all that, my entrepreneurs. And they like, nah, I don't want to work for nobody else. You know, create your own thing, this, that, another. So I had both of them going in the ear, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a job, satisfy them, and then I'm gonna get 4 or 5 hustles. So now I'm just spreading myself thin, hoping this hit, hoping that hit, hoping that hit. And then once I said, all right, I'm concentrating strictly on real estate. So now I'm a real estate sales agent. I got a team, which is the business, and then development, which is just elevations of the real estate.
How has, like, you know, I know I told you earlier about the process work, because I think, especially my generation, and me, of course, you know, I've abandoned and neglected, you know, embracing the process, going through the process, you know what I'm saying, when things get a little bit too hard, just be like, oh, forget it. How has your process, you know, affected your success, developed your character? Like, well, why is that so important? You know what I mean?
And it's huge, especially in real estate. Everything is a process. Like on the sales side, or on the listing side, you got steps to where you list the property all the way to close. On the buyer side, it's steps. It's a process. Once you master that process, then you can master being a sales agent. Real simple. On the development side, it's a lot trickier. But we just concentrated on the process. People were reaching out to us to be consultants because we had got 2 projects approved in a year through the city of Cleveland. It was like, but it was the fact that my mom had worked there, so I learned from her. It was the fact that I had worked in the city of Cleveland, so I understood how each department worked. And it was just putting all of those things in all together. But processes are definitely, I mean, I don't say a process will make you want to just throw it in. You have to understand your why. Going through that process. You understand what I'm saying? Because we could have quit and threw it in, but our why in starting a development company was for a legacy, for our kids,
Yeah.
for some, for the community to understand that this can be done.
Yeah.
And that was our whole thing. And Will always said, fellas, it's a grind. We gonna get it done.
Yeah.
He says it's just like, it's a grind. We gonna get it done. And every obstacle, every hurdle, it's just understanding that why.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 50 billion hurdles within that process, but understanding that nothing, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
Same thing we say in athletics, everybody would be doing this, but so I think that's the biggest thing, understanding that why, and that keeps us the motivation to get through the hurdles that come through in the process.
That's good.
But educating yourself through that process, bringing everybody in and building those relationships to help you through that process. And not being afraid to just go down. Like one thing we did was when I told Richard about development, he didn't understand it. He's in the private industry.
Yeah.
He's in the banking field, so he was like, "We got to do what?" I was like, "Rich, trust me." Now we got to go to community development. We got to go to economic development. We got to go to city planning. Like, why we got to go to all these departments? I was like, because I guarantee everybody's gonna say this. He was like, "What? You got to come to our department first and start." So we went to all of them.
Yeah.
We walked around City Hall that whole day. He was like, "Man, this makes no sense." I was like, "Man, that's how it works."
How it works, right? The process.
But we built those relationships in each
good.
one of them, and they were happy to see us and the energy that we brought. It was like, all right, we understand that that's the issue. We're going to get past that, and then all of us used our own real estate projects to help finance this.
Yeah. Ooh.
So we flipping, renovating this, selling it, and that's more money to WRJ.
Right.
We liquidating this, that's more money for WRJ.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because the banking institution hasn't caught up to the fact that there are going to be minority developers.
Yeah.
A lot of loans and everything like that, tax credits and everything like that have parameters around it to where you have to have done 2 projects. So, damn, I got to do 2 projects before I can even get another one. Right. I can't get the first one. How do I do that? Right. So that's another hurdle in the process. And then it's understanding, okay, let's reach out to some smaller banks who have CRA money, and then let's see if they're willing to play. And we found several banks that are willing to, let's do a phased approach.
That's good.
Instead of taking on 20, let's do 4. And then grow from there while you building your credit, while you're doing that as a business. So that's what I definitely can say with that one. But that was a hell of a question.
So I'm gonna ask this. So we talking about process, right? So right now, where you at now, and all the success that you've attained, and I know there's been times in your career where you felt like, oh, I'm about to quit. Probably getting times when you quit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? What would you like with what you learned about and how your character has developed at this point, and in your process at this point? What would you tell yourself at those times? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this is the, boom, boom, bam. Or,
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if I explained it.
No, I got it. And I'm sitting back on times, and I hate to say it like this, but it's my mentality. All right, my mind state is huge.
Yeah.
Mind state is huge. And I hate to bring it back there like this, but I'm a Kappa as well, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Shout out to Kappas.
Yeah, and then when I came across in '94, so it was still pledging and things like that, and them was some rough times, but it made and built character, as well as through athletics and football and things like that. So once I set my mind on something, I'm going to get it done.
Ooh.
It may not happen in a year, may not happen in 2 years, but I'm going to figure it out, because sometimes that's the worst. Sometimes that can be bad, because sometimes you stuck down the wrong path and you just keep going. But when you hit, you hit.
You hit, right.
Right, and that's just the mentality I have. And I was able to surround ourselves with WRJ with guys that had that same mentality, and we're just like, we're gonna figure it out. So if I had to go back to a time where shit was getting hard, it was just, I gotta figure it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bills still got to get paid.
Right.
Still got to take care of kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta figure it out. It was never in my eyes a pivot. It was never in my eyes a pivot. My pivot was getting out of understanding what my role was in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I had already did the reading and understood that wealth can be created through real estate.
Yeah.
So I just need to find my lane.
Yeah.
Once I found my lane, then it's just like, how can I really compound that and really make it crack, and just the levels of it. And then now it's more of, it's only one me. So how do I replicate myself to get more work done? That's the hurdle that I'm at now. It's like, all right, I got a team, so the team is doing well, but I got to keep feeding it.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be more successful. WRJ is one thing. We're building, we're growing, but it's 3 of us. How do we get staff up underneath us? You know, so that's good. Growing capacity is where I'm at now, and trying to understand those dynamics. But it's never been a time where I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna work, let's pivot. Like even we got told no with the new Huff Paradigm project. That's still sitting, and we just pitched that last week to somebody.
Oh, that's
so
it's
never been, and I like I said, I blame it on the mentality. Can be used in the positive or negative. Like if you're going down the wrong road and you got that mentality, you might end up in a bad situation.
Yeah.
But in mine, luckily, it's just been focused on doing the right things and going the right direction, and just getting through it is where I would definitely say.
I got one more. I don't mean to talk off too.
No, you
do your thing. Do your thing.
So I was looking at a podcast. I don't know if it was a podcast or a sermon. I think it was Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he said that you have 2 most important decisions you're going to make in your life.
Okay.
Your relationship with God and your partner, right? And I see that you're married.
Right.
How important has your wife been in this whole process? You know, how vital has she been? You know, that relationship.
Right.
You know?
Right.
No, I'm just saying. I'm asking for me. I'm never talked to my therapist about it.
All right. Great point. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was at that pivot point where my brother was going one direction, my other 2 partners were going another direction, I'm left trying to figure out what my reason and my why was.
Yeah.
She was there to help say, you need to figure it out. You know you love this, but figure out how it can work for you, and then supported me through it. So when I was going through the hondros, don't worry about this, I'll take care of this. You know what I'm saying? So it was building that relationship, letting me know that everything was okay. I don't, like, as men, we put a lot on our backs.
We do.
So for her to step up and say, go to hondros, take as much time, pass the test, I understand your vision, and support that was huge.
That's good.
And
shout out to wifey.
Right. And then the second thing was, like, I remember when I was in the bar industry for a long time, and got out of the bar industry and went back to work. And I remember when I got out of the bar industry and went to work in the city of Cleveland, and we were modest. We didn't have much then. And I remember going to Kmart to get my first suit to go to work on the first day. And she bought that suit for me. Now, and I laughed about it, and I always, give her that credit, because at that point, she could have walked away.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? But she was like, I understand his vision, I understand his hustle, and I want to support him. And it was just that one little Kmart suit. You understand what I'm saying?
That's dope.
And now I'm getting customs, but you know what I'm saying?
Talk to him nice.
Right. But it was just that journey, and being able to have somebody there that respects the journey, understands the journey, and sticks through it, through the bad and the good.
That's good. That's
So,
good.
yeah.
That's good. So we talked about the present. I did want to talk about, and make sure we get a chance to talk about the show, man, because I think that once again that's major, man.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I can't do relationships, right?
Yeah. Well, no. I'll say this. I've had 2 opportunities in which I'm still trying to figure out how they found me, to be honest. One day I was on the phone, I got a text, said, come down to the Crown Plaza. We want to feature you on the American Dream TV show. Spam. You know what I'm saying? Spam.
It just sound like a spam.
Yeah, and it came through. It was an email and a text.
Oh, okay.
And I looked at the email, did a little quick research. I'm like, okay, this might be legit. looked at the guy's name, found him. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And just showed up.
Yeah.
Just went down there, understood what they were trying to do, and I said, this is an opportunity for us to get to the masses and understand what our city is about. Our city, I mean, we've always been talked about in real estate because of our prices,
the pricing,
rent rates, you know, all of that type of stuff. So, what
Best of Cleveland.
Yeah. What's my Cleveland look like? And I thought this would be an opportunity for me to show my Cleveland. And the first episode I shot off of at the Glen Village, and I concentrated really on the fact that this was 105 in Superior. Between Superior and Euclid used to be the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Right? It used to be all minority-owned businesses, all up and down that street. And then it went through some rough times, but now the revitalization is coming back, and it started with like Glen Village. So it's just being able to give me another tool to tell why I love my city, and from my view.
Yeah, and I think that's so dope.
Yeah, and then I just got another opportunity. Keller Williams has like 2 big events national every year. They do Mega Camp, which is more of a learning training, so you got like 50,000 agents, 50,000 agents that attend that, and Family Reunion, which is the bigger one. So it's probably 3 times, like 100 and something agents from all over the nation.
Keller Williams, man.
Yeah, so I just got invited to be a panelist on the stage there, and I just got a congratulations, you've been nominated. And I'm like, the first question I asked was like, how y'all find me? Like, how you find me?
Process and friendships.
Yeah, come on. One time, man. Come on, man.
Friendships, baby.
And I'm like, you know, sometimes you put your head down, you grind.
Yeah.
And then
you watching, man, they watching.
Yeah, and that's why I said when you called, I was like, wow, okay. Because I've been a fan of the show.
No, man, listen. I was like, man, because I'll never forget when me and Marquita, shout out to Marquita and Nikita, can't be here today, but shout out to them, man. And we sat around, we said, who we want to get on the show? Because we know, you know what I'm saying, people are busy people, you know what I'm saying? But certain people, you guys have on the show to get their viewpoint, get the perspective. And once again, what they've been doing in the city, you got to acknowledge it, man.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And I'm like, man, we got to get Jermaine on, man. And I appreciate you getting back with this. Some people I got back with this. It's cool, y'all. You know what I'm saying? The time will tell. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no, that's what I say. Like in this city, it's tough. It's starting to change over the last 3-4 years.
Absolutely.
We're starting to see some camaraderie, some support, and that's what the other cities been doing for years. So to support the movement was the reason I was like, I got to be a part of it. And anything else you guys need from me, love to be a part of it. And I'm always reaching out. I talk to a lot of agents that's getting into real estate. I speak at a lot of schools, talk about the entrepreneurship program, because honestly, if I didn't play football, looking back at some stuff, if I didn't play football and athletics, right out of high school, I would have got my real estate license. And you talking about, I graduated in '93. Just imagine where I could really be, because there's some agents now, and I'm looking at their businesses, and they started, right, young. But I went at that point in time. It was gotta go to college, gotta get an education, gotta get a degree, this, that, and the other. And now you start to see like it's so many different programs and tech programs and things like that these kids can get into. So just having an open mind to be able to say like, look, real estate is a career path. It's a definite career path, and with low overhead and no student debt.
Exactly. You never lie. Right. And it's true. You work it out, man. It could be a tax deduction too.
You definitely can.
I'm in school now.
But no, I mean, I learned a lot from college. Built a lot of relationships, and a lot of friends I still talk to. I still go down to Eastern Michigan for homecoming every year. So I still keep that, those relationships and that bond and things like that. But as far as business and career, please, I at least had it.
Well, you got it. I would
at least have my real estate license at 19.
I got you.
Looking back, even if I was doing 1 deal here, 2 deals there, just learning the business still, been something I would have kept.
No, I feel it. I feel it. So okay, so we talk about the past, we talk about the present, let's talk about the future, man.
Right.
What's the next step for you?
I've been on a strategic planning type thing. When you talk about processes, if you, and what you just said made all the sense, is you got to know where you've been, where you're at, and to understand where you want to go. And then you put that plan and that process together. So I've been really like putting a strategic plan together on how Let's Sell Buy Team can grow and flourish, and how WRJ can grow and flourish, and how both of those entities can work together.
Ooh, that's good.
So that's where I'm really looking for the future, and building stronger relationships. We had a meeting last week, and we were able to get into a room that normally we wouldn't be able to get into.
Yeah.
And I was able to get in that room, and once I got in that room, that's when the light really turned on. Like, I haven't accomplished nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's dope that you just said it, because I think a lot of times we'll get in rooms where we're the biggest, or you know what I'm saying, not saying the biggest person, but like we have the most influence when those are the wrong rooms to be in.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, you definitely, like they say, you're the smartest person in the room. You need to get
Oh
in
yeah,
that
yeah,
room.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but being able to have a business, have a vision, and people start to understand, and being able to talk and really, really legitimately understand what you're saying when you meet people, they respect that. And that's how I've been able to get in some doors that have been closed to us for a long time. And being able to get in those doors, all I'm thinking about is, all right, once I'm in this door, how can I utilize that for growth in my current businesses, and how can I bring some people with me?
Oh, that's good.
And because it makes no sense, like to be the only one at the top sometimes. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
like
good, man.
when you're the only one at the top, now you got
Get lonely.
it get lonely. And the thing about it is, you got everybody saying, I want that spot. I want that spot. When you can just reach back and grab people and take them up the hill with you. So that's what I've been doing, like with the team. With WRJ, we've been part of mentoring with the Urban Land Institute, working with CDA, Community Development Advisors. We're working with all these different people. And like I told them, I said, this is how far Cleveland is back, because we're still building our first project, but we're the mentors.
Right.
Right, yeah, wrap your hands around that. We're still building ours, but we're the mentors, because there isn't anyone who came before.
That went over my head for a split second.
Ain't nobody did it.
But the fact y'all just one step ahead. Like I think a lot of times the people they miss that. You can mentor someone, you can just be one step ahead of them. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah, right. They're like, don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've been there.
It's really that simple. Yeah, we dropped the ball right there.
Yep.
Don't do that, and then let's keep moving. But I think that's the biggest thing. Like I stated, strategic plan is huge. Just understanding how both my businesses can correlate and run and help each other is really what I'm focusing on for the future.
Yeah.
More developments coming out with WRJ. We got a lot of stuff in the piper. Building relationships with some bigger banks. Meeting with the city of Cleveland, kissing babies and things like that.
That's what's up, man. Come on. I was like, do you see politics coming around your way? Because, bro, I can see it. I can see it, man. I can see it, man.
Mayor May.
No.
You said that.
What I say, I'm from now on, I'm focusing on one thing now.
I got you.
I'm gonna stay right in my lane.
Okay.
Right in my lane.
So I'm saying the relationships, man, they're like, hey, you know what? Jermaine will go, he would be great in this position right here. Councilman, something like that.
I donate.
Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah.
We're doing the turkey drives, and I'm helping out with
Be like Neil Brown. I got you. Okay.
No. We can support somebody else to do all of
That's
that.
what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, so you just said something real profound to me. It isn't verbatim what you said, but you said reflect on where you've been, where you are currently, to determine where you want to go.
Yep.
Like, how can I frame this question? Like, why is that so important for your mindset? Because what I get from it is optimism and faithfulness. You know what I'm saying, of the process. Like, why is that mindset so important for you?
Yes. Well, it's important for me because I understand where I was at and all the mistakes that I made. I am not perfect. I'd have made a lot of mistakes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But each one of those mistakes helped me build character.
Ooh.
So that's where I was. But you got to understand where you were and then where you're at now. And understand that journey. That journey is where made you the person that you are. All those mistakes, all those late nights, all those times sitting in the car where you just trying to figure it out. And then using all of those experiences and the knowledge that you've gained from those experiences to take you to that next level. I was watching a podcast with the Pivot. I was watching the Pivot, and they had
That's a good podcast.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, shout out to the Pivot. And they had oh man, I forgot his name, and that's my frat brother, the coach for Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh man,
I forgot his name.
Yeah, oh that's bad, but we'll figure it out.
Black History Month, fellas.
Right. Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
There you go. So listening to Mike Tomlin, and he says he hates being comfortable. I rewinded that and rewinded it, and as soon as you get comfortable, you get complacent.
Get stagnant.
That is a 5-hour conversation. Right?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
When he said that, I was like, that's right. Because there has been times where I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I got this going. Yeah. That's comfort. And that's comfort. And when you get comfortable, then you get complacent. You start missing out on stuff, this, that, and the other. And you can't forge ahead being comfortable. So after that, when I heard that, I was like, bing. I was like, yep, gotta get out. I don't want to be comfortable. I like living, like trying to figure it out. And that motivates you. That gets you that motivation to just keep going, to keep pushing, and keep striving, and focusing on that strategic plan. Understanding where you've been. Understanding that at one point you had zilch. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say zilch, I'm not even really talking about money. I'm talking about focus. I'm talking about goals. I'm talking about desires. I'm talking about thinking about a legacy. You can't think about a legacy when you barely trying to pay for the meal for the night.
Right.
You know, so understanding that is key. And then just understanding like the relationships, the processes, and everything what got you here. And then that's how you plan for the future.
That's good right there.
Yeah, but yeah, that comfortable thing, that caught me when he said that. And I was in the bed laying, like, hold on.
Laying down.
Yeah.
Come on down, let me get up.
Let me get up.
Yeah, but he was talking about just being uncomfortable. And he was like, he wants all his players to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. And you think about it like from athletics, when I played at Easter, having somebody, a little freshman or somebody coming up behind you, like beating you in sprints and stuff like that.
But no.
That can't happen. You know what I'm saying? So you take that mentality, that's huge. Just being uncomfortable. So after that, I really was like, all right, now we got to take everything to another level. And then me and my partner Cliff with Let's Sell By.
Shout out Cliff, by the way.
Yeah, and then my other partners with WRJ. That's what we really just been saying. Like, all right, we're winning.
Yeah.
But we got our why. Legacy. Did we leave a legacy if we get this project done? Yeah. But if we got a company that we can scale, now that's a legacy.
That's a legacy.
And that's where we really are focusing on trying to do that. And like I said, if I figure out how I can merge Let's Sell By Team with my WRJ development, then I really think I'll be able to do that. Because with Let's Sell By Team, I'm bringing a lot of agents in. Started all with, except for 2 agents. Everybody else is brand new. So you already know, like brand new agent, that's a lot of teaching, a lot of mentoring and all that. So I poured all of that into them to see them start to excel, and I'm grabbing other ones. So by using that as my funnel to bring agents into the real estate world and then merge them into the development to take them on the same path that I went on. So that's my mentality and try to figure that part out. And I think, I know it's going to get done.
Oh, yeah.
When and how long it's going to take, I mean, we shall see. But that's the vision for the future.
No, hey, listen, that's a great.
And real quick, I just want to make something clear for the viewers. Like, I believe that a lot of people, when they say being uncomfortable, you always associate that with being like a negative connotation.
Right.
But it's not. All it is saying, stay on your P's and Q's.
That's right. That's right.
Progress. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just
Right.
be on your stuff for real. Because it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people that are well off, millionaires, things like that. I don't know one person that has a great business that is just good, like
Just chilling.
sitting back with their feet crossed. You know what I'm saying? And being around those circles, like everybody's always talking about what's next.
Yeah.
What's next? And I've never been in a room where I was like, everybody's like, well, we good right now. Like, we cool. Let's not worry about nothing else.
Right now.
Yeah, we straight. Everything good.
So how do you create that balance though? Where do your balance come in the factory life?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you honestly, that's my work in progress. That's my work in progress. The work-life balance. Sometimes I find myself constantly grind mode, and then everything else gets left to the side. The family, the kids, part-time here, doing, you know what I'm saying? So spreading myself thin. That's what I'm saying. Trying to find someone who can duplicate my energy or understand the processes that we're going to assist is where I really need the help at. But yeah, that's constantly a struggle. One thing I used to do, and I done fell off from it, I used to be on a set regimen, a set schedule. And that set schedule gave me the balance that I needed. As things got hectic and, you know, the weather, you know, everything like that, start throwing you off a little bit. But I used to get up, work out, emails. Then it was check on listings, contact all my clients. You know, I had a set routine. Then it was WRJ from this time. Then it was this, that, and other.
Set schedule.
Yeah, set schedule. And I mean, that helps. I mean, coming from like athletics and football, you had a set schedule every day. Work, study, job.
I'm gonna pray on you getting that balance too.
Yeah,
That's
please do.
important.
It is. And you said something earlier, like you gonna talk to your counselor, like definitely something like reach out and have somebody to speak to. Definitely, and that's something that I'm still working on as well. Just having somebody to talk to, because you can't take all these stresses with you, and the business can be stressful.
Yeah.
Definitely be stressful, and then all the obstacles, this, that, and other, and sometimes you feel like you're dealing with everything on your own. So it does have to be that work-life balance, that seeking someone to talk to and everything like that. So that is something that's a work in progress with me.
That's what I'm in school for. So some
Yeah.
references I got. I'm a counselor. Yeah, we're very close.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, so definitely that's something that's, and like I said, I'm a humble guy. I understand my weaknesses. And
that's important.
That's definitely important.
That's important.
That's definitely important. And I know my deficits, and all I can do is try to build on those.
So I question, man, we talked about this on camera, but I want to make sure we get it for the audience.
Okay.
You know, we as a podcast, the reason why we created this joint was, once again, to be able to give a spotlight to those in Cleveland who are doing dope things. Whether you have a small following, big following, whatever, if you're doing great in Cleveland, we want you on. Once again, because the point of us doing this is to encourage, empower, educate. You know what I'm saying? Which you've done all by the way tonight. Thanks, by the way. But unfortunately, RC has a bad stigma of not supporting. Like we already talked about in the episode. But I want to get your take on it. How can we change that? How can we change that stigma? Because like I said, you've been all over. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it happen other places. What can we do to make sure that happens here in Cleveland?
It's a mind state shift, and it starts with stuff like you guys are doing.
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that's doing it, but the story's not getting out there. The story isn't getting out there. We need to understand that this is the new normal. This is the new normal. We're going to help each other. We're going to grow together, and we're going to grow and elevate as a community.
That's good.
But two things. I mean, the story, and I get approached with this all the time. I do like a lot of community stuff. We did food drives, coat drives. I go talk at schools. I mentor. I do a lot. Why don't I tell people about it? And sometimes you like, I gotta tell everybody what I'm doing. But what you said is, when people see what you're doing and they're doing the same thing, and that story is being told, then it becomes the normal. It becomes the normal. Right now, everything is still somewhat in a silo, and everybody has to be the one to make it. Everybody, why does
everybody want to be the head?
Everybody, listen.
We got 50 quarterbacks in the city and no wide receivers.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's funny.
No, I'm serious. We can't complete a pass. Everybody.
No lineman and nothing.
No nothing.
Nobody want to play running back now.
Nobody. Everybody want to be the quarterback. But it's just being, having the openness in the mind state to say like, look, I can have my agenda. You can have your agenda. We can work together in the line and make sure we have something going on that will be more beneficial. And the thing about it, the more people you have involved, the better it's going to turn out, and the more publicity and everything comes to it.
I had this one time. Come on, man. They need to hear that. They need to hear that, man.
I just learned that it's important, especially with relationships in business, to surround yourself with people that are elite in the things that you lack in.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And that creates a great,
Think about what you just said is how things get built. So there's a general contractor, and the general contractor got a whole bunch of subcontractors.
Yep.
Each one of the subcontractors is their own business. The general contractor is just the one who's aligning all of those people.
Yep.
They all get aligned, and then they finish a project. Next thing you know, you got a big building built.
Right.
And it was done by 50 different companies.
And it's crazy because I see this too. It's like people have $1 million ideas, but they can't humble themselves enough to let nobody else come assist them and stuff like that. You got to do all the marketing. You got to do the books and all this. I'm like, bro, no, you're good at real estate.
Right.
And everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I always be like, man, who knows somebody who can do this?
for real.
Yeah, like,
for real.
I mean, I stay in my lane. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
Like I told y'all, like everybody said, your team needs to start a podcast to get more stuff, get a YouTube channel. That ain't my lane. I don't know nothing about it. I told Clip,
That'd be hard, by the way, though.
I was like, man, go find somebody to do this.
We'll talk out the words. Talk out the words, man. I got you.
But yeah, so it's just getting out. Sometimes we be in our own way.
Yeah.
We be in our own way, and I mean, it's a movement already. It's just capitalizing on that movement.
Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of stuff on IG where there are small businesses getting together to do events. Instead of one person doing it, now you got 4 or 5 businesses all in the same thing. Now it's a bigger event.
Your network comes my network. We're leveraging each other's networks,
you're
man.
leveraging that, and that's what really needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. And we cannot be afraid to say, I need help, or I want a partner.
That's good.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember my pops used to tell me it's better to have part of watermelon than have all of them grape, man. And that always stuck with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was vodka. I remember when I started, I'm like, everybody, you gonna do it by yourself? Hell no, I don't do it by myself.
Right.
Because I know there's only so much I know, and plus I know me. You know what I'm saying?
And if I look at all the businesses, I mentioned like 3 or 4 businesses that I've been in, and every one of them I was with partners.
See?
Facts. And you started the recent business with the guys that you knew from 4th grade.
Yep.
You know, so.
And it was just all of us saying, look, we've been working in silos long enough. Let's come together. Let's pool our resources. And once we start pooling our resources, it's like, wow, you knew that person, and then things just really started rolling. And different perspectives too. Because a lot of times you might have one perspective, but somebody else be like, no, let's look at it this way. Yeah. And oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Right. Now,
you know what I'm saying? So just having that as a sounding board is always good. But yeah, I mean, we got to do better.
No,
we do. We have to do better. And one part that really hurts me is that I've seen throughout my journey in real estate and into development and things like that, from early '99 to 2000. I've seen a whole bunch of people come in this city and make a mint
and leave out.
And we walking around like, oh yeah, such and such came in, they did this, they did that. Like, they ain't even from here.
I mean, loud, but that's
no, think
crazy.
about it. I'm not throwing no names like that. I'm saying like, and I sit there and I'm like, damn. We as a city congratulating this person who came in from another city to do this, and we got all the resources here.
They're already here.
We got all the resources here, but we congratulating. Oh, that was the stuff. High five. Yeah. So a lot of times I'll just be like, wow, all right, that's rough, but we just got to do better, man. We got all the resources in this city. all the resources. And then, like I stated, it's people that's already doing it. You guys are doing a great job showcasing them.
Appreciate it.
And it's just building and keeping it going with the momentum.
And I feel like you said, we went through a renaissance. I think the pandemic really put everybody in a bubble. Like, hey, we gotta do better.
Yeah. And oh goodness, when you said that, all right. So it was, and I forget his name. WRJ, we were having a meeting. I'm on Instagram. I'm like, look, we was talking about raising money.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at this guy right here. This guy raised, I think he raised like 20 million from the community. From the community, he raised like 20 million to build. Said it was like a buy back the block. It was a whole little thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I sent the screenshot to Willie. Willie was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna reach out to him. That's my frat brother, Willie. He's a Q." So he reached out to the guy.
Yeah.
The guy called back immediately, right? And was like, "Look, this is what you guys need to do." He was like, "This first one is free."
Yeah.
And then after that, y'all can hire me as a consultant.
Yeah.
But the first one is free. He gave us every step on how we can go to the community and raise money. And then he hit us with, y'all ain't doing that in Cleveland?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But they doing it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Everywhere else. I got a client who raises money elsewhere and comes here to buy.
Wow.
So everybody else is coming into the city and doing what we should be doing.
Right. There's no excuse why we can't do it
There's
ourselves.
no excuse. We got all the talent here.
Yeah.
We got all the resources here. Whatever we got to do, I mean, get the business together, have a meeting, or whatever we got to do, we should do it. We got to do it.
Listen, I'm all for it. And like you said, I appreciate it because like that, I feel like that's our mission here with the podcast. Because there's a lot of podcasts, man. And I'm not knocking a podcast, but it's not too many where they spotlight us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And and when we sat down, we're like, we got to do it because no one's doing it. And give that voice to the person who doesn't have a voice, who doesn't have a spotlight. You know, in Cleveland, it is so many entrepreneurs that they know in the city, but it's so many great people doing great things that people don't even know.
Right.
And we want to make sure we give them spotlight to them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Telling the story.
Oh yeah, no,
telling the story.
absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
the story has to be told. Like it's a lot of times I'm on there and I'm looking at you guys' podcasts. I'm like, oh wow, they doing that. That's great.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. And it's just connecting those pieces of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
connected.
we appreciate you once again, man. So okay, and by the way, I'm already saying. So part 2, I said, come Cutter Williams, come sit down with the team, sit down with the whole list team. We're gonna just have like a panel type joint. You know what I'm saying?
Love to do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Love to do it.
So part 2, we already it's on my books, y'all. Y'all heard that? You know what I'm
You
saying?
can come to the office.
Bet.
Definitely, we can shoot it in there.
Bet we gonna do it.
Got a nice little office in there.
Yeah.
Got a bar in there.
Okay, bet that's even better. Remember, make a drink champ type of joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can do a drink chat.
So, man, and I promise you, I'm gonna rewatch the episode because you've been dropping gems left and right. And once again, I'm gonna be watching it again. What are the 3 things you want someone to take away from the interview tonight?
I think number 1 is building relationships and networking. It's one thing to go to a networking event and meet somebody and pass out a card, but understanding how you can help that person.
Can I just one time? Come on, man. Because that's good right there. Because oh man,
it's
especially networking.
Yeah, I mean, we have to network a little bit better.
Yeah.
A lot of times we always call with the ask.
Yeah.
We always call with the ask, and instead of saying what I can do to help you. So that's number 1.
I hope y'all wrote that down,
It's
man.
networking.
That's boss talk.
Yeah,
Right, it really is.
Networking, building those relationships, so we can get in doors that normally have been closed for us.
That's good.
That's the key. Number 1. Number 2 is being humble. Being humble and understanding that there's always more that you can do. Being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So one thing, like, I'm not scared to ask for help. If I don't know it, I'm gonna ask. I'm that guy. Like,
Right.
What did you say? How did you do that? You know, so just understanding, and people like, why? Because you have to not be too proud to accept advice,
That's good.
accept experiences, and understand different processes and things like that. So I think that would be 2. And then the last thing is just mind state. It's a mind state. we used to always say we was online. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna write that down.
Yeah, that was our thing. When we was on, man, if you don't mind, it don't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, it don't matter. And
New tweet alert.
Yeah, and we used to say that all the time. And that is just embracing the struggle.
Yeah.
Sometimes we, like the question you were asking, like, what do you do when you get an obstacle, this, that, and the other? What do you do? And I'm like, get an obstacle, you gotta get over it. You know what I'm saying? It's that mind state. It's just understanding that my why is at the end of there, and it's these hurdles I gotta get over, and I gotta figure it out. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. It just embraces that struggle, embraces that grind, you know, and just goes move forward. So I think those are the three keys, and those are the three that get me.
Those were worth the price of admission right there, by the way. For real, man. And I honestly, I appreciate you coming on, man. 'Cause once again, you were on my list of people to have on the podcast, and I appreciate you being on, man. And we just can't thank you enough, man.
Yeah, that's my first time I ever did a podcast.
Is it? Oh, wow. Come on, man. we got
first time I ever did a podcast.
You did great, by the way.
Any YouTube stuff? I never.
Oh man, listen. Yeah, we definitely gonna talk. We gonna try to get buy list team. We gonna get them next up. You know what I'm saying? Get y'all on, man. But definitely, man. And by the way, how can the people reach you if they want to talk to you about anything you got going on?
Yeah, phone number. I'm easy to find. You can just. I don't know if they Google me. No, but it's 216-224-4326 or Jermaine Brooks, Brooks @kw.com.
Yep.
So either one of them that gets to me, I can get with WRJ or anything like that.
Perfect.
He thorough. He gave you the phone number and the website.
Right, but you know, in our business, that's how it goes.
Hey, listen, man. My number on everything.
Yeah, number on everything.
So it's like y'all don't give out like social media and stuff like that.
All my all right. So say for instance, somebody. One thing that I do, like anytime my phone ring, like right now I got it on do not disturb, but any other time, you know, the phone ring. I always, even on the custom, I hit you back with a custom real quick. Like, hey, I'm in a meeting real quick. Is there something I can answer via text? As soon as they say yes or no and get engaged, then that's when I can transfer all my information to them. Got the little flow code thing, send all my information like
That's
that.
why I give it Killer Wings, man. They got system out. You want some system processes? Killer Wings got them down, bro.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But that was something I had to learn. And one thing I say in real estate, all you got to do is market and then answer your phone.
That's a gym right there.
Yeah,
You gonna break that butt.
Oh, I really am.
Market and answer your phone.
Answer your phone.
I answer the phone sometimes. People are like, oh, I thought I was gonna be leaving a message.
Man,
like a lot of times I can't, but I'm always sending that custom text. Man, I'm in a meeting right now. It's something I can answer real quick via text. Bam. Then I got you on the thing. And I put them all on the thing. But it's the process. It's the process of just understanding that.
Man, listen. And I appreciate you, man. This is episode 96, y'all. As y'all know, we're on the road to 100. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I want to thank y'all once again. Y'all come out every week, and y'all sit down right along with us and learn these gems, and we appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I can't thank y'all enough. And listen, I want to thank my man Brian for coming in tonight, y'all. Man, once again, y'all see it, man. He doing this thing, man.
My uncle, y'all.
Right. And if y'all haven't got a chance to subscribe to Becoming Overcomers, y'all. Y'all is one of the best podcasts out there. It's a podcast. I know we were talking about, you know, it's a show.
It's a podcast.
It's really, okay, thank you. We said it on the podcast. Thank you. Okay, cool.
Trying to say it was a conversation, but no, it's a podcast.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a good one though. You know what I'm saying? So listen, y'all do me a favor. Y'all rock with us. Rock with the podcast.
And just to let y'all know, at Becoming Overcomers, the mission of that podcast, my movement, is to help individuals overcome the past, present, and give them tools for the future traumas that they're going to go through. So that's our whole synopsis. That's what we're doing, and you know, that's what we're there for.
Once again, you know what I'm saying? So check it out, y'all. So once again, thank y'all again. We'll see y'all next week.
Appreciate it.